Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome back again to another session of Speak Your Mind. It's another beautiful Saturday night. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for the late start. You know, we like to start here on time at 7:30 every Saturday night because I know a lot of you sit back and wait for this show. So I apologize for the late start tonight. It's a really good night. It's nice and warm outside. It was a beautiful day all day, so I hope you guys are ready to take part in the discussion. As usual, you know, whenever I'm here, I like to have discussion. I want to have the conversation going because the people who can make a difference, they are listening, ladies and gentlemen. They are listening to you and me, all of us. They are listening to our concerns, and they are willing to act, I believe. We just have to keep pounding the pavement. And of course, you know, again, I'm always challenge you guys, whenever you call with something important that you feel is important, a complaint, a concern, bring me some ideas behind it so those who are listening who can make a difference, they can run with those ideas. Even if we don't get no credit for it, at the end of the day, if it's for the greater good, it's good. It helps everybody. So, call your friends, call your neighbor, call your sister, your brother, your uncle, aunt, let them know that I am here. It's a live show. It's live, you know, I'm gonna do my open thing, and then after that, we're gonna leave the phone lines wide open because we wanna blow this thing up. We got a little bit of time, so let's act upon it. Don't sit back and wait for the next guy to get you going. You know what's on your mind. So feel free when that phone line pop up on the screen after we come back from a break to call the show. Send your text. The texts are welcome. Last week, it was a text night. We had almost 60 to 70 texts last week. And we appreciate those texts because you were saying what was on your mind. And some of them were good texts and some of them were challenging texts because, you know, sometimes you got to read them twice to see what they're saying. So feel no way. Call, send your text. It all good. It all adds up to the same thing, a conversation. A dialogue. Let's have that conversation. Tonight on my agenda, I got about 3 or 4 things I would put out there for you guys to kind of just grab and see if you want to, you know, talk about those things. And if not, whatever is on your mind, feel free to call about those things. So, first thing on my agenda, back to school for the kids. I think everything is in full swing this coming week, Monday, Tuesday, for most of the public schools throughout the territory. In particular, I want to focus a little bit on the high school. I read somewhere today that a new teacher, principal might be taking over the high school. And I want you guys, those of you who have kids in high school, what do you think about the challenges of high school? I mean, what to be expected? Are your kids ready? Are they ready to do the right thing? Are they ready to come to learn? Leave all the ignorance behind. Leave all the trouble behind and just come to school. Parents, what are you expecting of the school, from the administration, from the system? Whether it's security, whether it's more attention to whatever sports, whether it's more attention to academics, whatever it is. I want to hear from you tonight. We want to talk a little bit about the high school. Are the kids ready? Is the school ready? Is the school ready? The high school I'm talking about. Again, I understand there's a new potential principal, and I want to know if she's going to be ready because everybody knows the high school is a challenge. It's a serious challenge at high school up there, but we love our kids, and we want to see the best for them. And those of you that have kids in the high school, tell me what is your expectation of this coming school year. And of course, I believe there's some new implementation going into effect. I think someone corrected me the other day and said we're no longer going to call them farms. They're now going to be referred to as grades. 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. I'm not too sure how that works. I'm not too versed on that. So if any of you have the knowledge on that, please call us and share us what exactly are we to expect this year with our high school system. So hit me up if you want to hit me up on that. Again, after the break, we'll go a little bit more into some of this, and then we'll open the lines for discussion. Next thing on my agenda, last week, of course, I talked a little bit about, there was a text, ladies and gentlemen, there was a text that came in, and then the text simply asked something about whether or not I felt taxi system or the taxi business was being overrun by the limo and livery service. And I said, yeah, and I went into a little bit on it. I challenged the minister who's responsible for the subject to get out there and do what's right by the industry. Correct, fix, clean, maintain, manage the industry. And I believe the minister knows about the issues that the taxi guys are facing, and how to basically get it online, on stream properly. There's also the Taxi and Livery Commission, and I know for a fact that we have guys out there who are running this thing, who are smart, who are willing to do whatever it takes to help the guys get to the next level, and also help regulate the industry because it needs regulating. So I know this is going to be a shock to some of you, and I'm going to get more into this, but I'm going to say it here. After that news broke on the newspaper just this week, there was a lot of comments. There was a lot of comments by a lot of you, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for your negative comments. Thank you for your comments of concerns. Thank you for your constructive comments, because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. When I broke when I challenged cable TV, a lot of you were happy that somebody was able to say what needed to be said about cable TV. And a lot of you met me on the street and said, man, thank you. In the supermarket, at UPS, on the street, driving, getting in the taxi. A lot of you were happy that somebody was able to bring your concern to a point where they will take note and they will do whatever it takes to pretty much improve their service. And that's what we need. Well, guess what? I am not the kind of person going to sit here and be offended by any of your negative comments. I am not, because half of what you said is true. It's true, ladies and gentlemen. There's a major issue in the taxi business with taxi men. I know a lot of my taxi brothers going to be upset. They're going to hate me. They're going to say we shouldn't call them out. But you know what I always believe? If you can admit to your problems, then you could start the process in finding ways to fix them. So yes, thank you for some of your comments, because they were warranted. They were needed. We need to hear those things. And the system, the government needs to know those things as well in order to know how to fix them. But the blame isn't just on the taxi as well. The blame is the entire system. The system is just corrupt. The system is just bad. It is not regulated. For whatever reason, whether the people who are charged with regulating it don't get the support that they need from whoever. Maybe that's the part of the problem. Maybe the major problem is that the fact that taxi guys, there are things in place, are not following the rules and regulation. They're not doing the right thing. So there's enough blame to go around. But, like I said, we'll touch that a little bit more, because I'll tell you what, all I'm going to say again is thank you, because it is not bad. I didn't take it as a negative. You can't knock me down with things that are truthful. If that's what it is, then we are, as operators, need to hear that. We need to read it. We need to understand it from you, the public that we're serving. And then we need to find ways to just take those negative comments, those constructive comments, and just start working at them one by one. So I'm challenging my brothers, my taxi operators, them, to get out. Go, first of all, read the comments, because they're real bad, some of them. And then let's find ways together as a unit to fix those problems. Let's address those concerns of those folks who say, service is bad, taxi doing this and taxi doing that. And I know for a fact, I drive a taxi, I see it all the time. Sometimes I have to remind myself, don't stop in the middle of the street to pick nobody up, especially around the corner there by Delta. We got people coming on the corner, just stopping, trying to get you to stop, and there's traffic coming around at 20, 30, 40 miles an hour. I got to remind myself, whenever you picking up a customer, to try to go around as much as possible to open up the door. You got customers with luggage. Don't wait for them to ask you for help. Go help them. Load your stuff. Chat them up nicely. Help the old ladies in. At the end of the day, you make more money. So yeah, I remind myself. So ladies and gentlemen, don't feel no way. Maybe some of the bloggers or some of the same people who work at BVI Cable TV, and they said this is an opportunity to strike back. You did me a favor. You should be doing the rest of us who are in the industry a favor, because those comments should help us to wake up, not put us in a mood where we angry and upset and feel like it's you against us. No, I'm in the business to serve people. And if I'm not doing my job right, please let me know. All right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that, ladies and gentlemen. Again, two really good things to talk about if you guys want to hit those up. If you got something else that you want to talk about, feel free to hit me up on the phone. We're going to hit this next thing on my agenda, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll be back. But next on my agenda, I saw something in the news that was on BVI, I think it was Platinum News, where the premier was asked about whether or not he think a commission of inquiry should come forward. And the premier maintained his position that he doesn't think there was any reason, or there's any reason for concern, even despite what the governor said. The governor himself said that he believed the situation of the allegation is serious enough to look at. He said that. The premier said he doesn't think they're serious enough. So what do you think? That's the question. What do you think? You're the public. Do you think an investigation should come forward in this project and other projects? It don't matter. If you believe other projects should be under the microscope, then let's hear about it, because there's also other reports just came out. There was one that came out on the greenhouse. If some of you haven't had a chance to read that, you should read it. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I ain't sitting up here defending nothing that I believe was wrong. And let me tell you something. The greenhouse was just as wrong. Go read it for yourself. Don't let me tell you. Go read it for yourself. The report is damning. So don't think I'm going to sit up here and try to defend anything. I'm not neither left nor right. I am down the middle. I want to hear from you. What we're going to do, guys, before we go to break, we're going to hit this last thing up. I'm going to give you another little piece of topic to talk about. Again, the phone lines are open for anything that you want to talk about. Another press release I saw in the paper, China. The government is now seeking and looking for more investors from China. They want to get us more involved with doing business with China. They're also looking at ways to strengthen our financial services in the whole Asian Pacific Rim, in the whole Asian Rim, including China, and then finding ways to bring more tourists to the territory. What do you guys think? Do you want to be a part of that? Should we get in bed with China looking at what's happening around the rest of the world? Ask yourself. Just look at every other place in the Caribbean. Billions of dollars are being dropped in the Caribbean. Antigua just signed $2 billion, I believe, since the last governor just got into power. Like 3-4 days after he got in, he signed a Chinese agreement. Good. Sounds good. Investment. I love it. I'm not saying anything good or bad. I'm asking you how you feel. We look at Jamaica. The Chinese are doing a lot of work down there, building the highways and so forth, doing a lot of work on the infrastructure. They got money. They got people too. Bahamas, they got a major project going on there with a hotel. Great for Bahamas? I don't know. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews. What do you think? Trinidad, just a couple years ago, I think at the end of 2012 or 2011, Trinidad took about $2 to $3 billion US from the Chinese government that was supposed to go into the CARICOM fund to help Caribbean countries develop in different areas, infrastructural development, roads, bridges, whatever, airports and so forth. What do you think? That's the question. Do you think we should get in bed with China, or should we be very careful how we invest with Chinese? Looking at what's happening globally, Africa, Europe, America, $4 trillion almost owed to the Chinese government. They'll never be able to pay it back. Investment is there, it's good, it's investment nonetheless. What do you think? Simple question. I'm not defeating anything, just a question. 4 good topics out there, ladies and gentlemen. If one of them topics don't stimulate you tonight, you're dead. Something is wrong with you. So we're going to take a break. I'm going to give you a chance to line yourself up and then call me. Call me after the break. Let me know what you think about either one of the topics I just put out there, or tell me what's on your mind. All right? So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
And what kind of party this?
Them that bring the music.
Seriously?
Nothing nobody we can be stress-free.
Having Digicel data is like having the fastest man in the world save you from party disasters. Start using Digicel data today. Digicel.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Again, phone lines are wide open. Send your texts, send your calls. Let's get it on the road. This is what this show is about. This is an opportunity for you to express yourself. I don't want to be up here talking to myself all night. And I don't want to be reading texts all night. So call me, let me know what you're thinking. Again, send your text. So as I open up the show, I asked you guys, what do you think? I give you 4 good things out there. We got the high school getting ready to open up. The kids getting ready to go back to school. How do you guys feel about the new school year? Parents, what is your expectation for this new school year? Is there anything that you believe wasn't rectified last year's school year that you believe should immediately be addressed for the new coming school year? I saw again, we have a situation where we see a new principal getting ready to go to high school. Tough lady, smart, sharp. Is she ready for this high school? Is the high school ready for her? Are your kids ready to go to high school and do the right thing? Call me and let me know what you think. I want to hear from you on that. Talked about a little bit about investing in China. Government is embarking on a big trip sometime next week. You know, Chinese are investing a lot all over the place. Investing big, 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 big. How do you guys feel about investing with China? Good evening. You want to speak your mind? Go ahead, please.
I'm not talking.
Appreciate that. Thanks for calling. Uh-huh.
I want to call you and you talking. Now listen to this. I don't live in China. Right? I don't live in China, right? Right? But the people in here, when you talking about, I like your voice. You know, I mean, your voice is good time to help me. I like, I don't live in China, but still, China, you know what I mean? But I have many, like, farmers that have been in wow. You know, live their life on so. Right? I don't live in China. You got talking about Patola. You talking about Patola, you saying nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you, but you need to talk up just a little bit louder. Just a little bit louder because I'm having a little bit difficulty understanding what you're saying.
Okay, listen. I just call you to tell you the night, and I like saying your shit.
Appreciate that.
Right? And I like listening to what you're saying, so you're talking on, so you're talking right.
I appreciate that. I like when you open up the show, though.
Yeah, let me say, open the show, the people look like the people falling. There's a problem, you know. The people have problem. And look at it, you get problem. You That's all I say.
Well, let me ask you this. You the same person that called about the festival ground?
Yeah?
Were you the same person that called about the festival ground couple shows ago?
Just a boy, look at that now, right?
And look what you made happen. I don't care what nobody say. I gave you the credit.
Eh?
I giving you the credit because your observation, because you care about your country. Even though you say from St. Thomas, we know you love the BVI.
I from St. Thomas, right?
But you love the BVI and you love it enough to take a stand and make a call.
Hey, yeah. I gotta tell you the truth, it's down St. Thomas, but because of this nonsense going on down there, check what I'm saying, the youth then, it's going crazy, heard me?
Boy, but let's keep our youths them here positive, so we don't have to worry about that.
Look at it. Obama needs to be the president war, and they're getting kicked, and they're killing one another. I mean, that time, but I mean, that's all I'm blessed. You heard?
Yeah, definitely.
Anyhow, I don't really want to show and say, I will stay tuned on to.
All right, my brother. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, man. Peace and love, right?
Yeah, man. Appreciate the call.
Yo.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, open up the phone line. Don't be afraid to call. I mean, it's your voice. You know, if you want your voice to be heard, this is the right show. This is the right time. Saturday night is the only time you'll get an opportunity to say what you think is right or wrong, question things, and maybe try to get some kind of answer out of it. So, and I'm going to do my best to stay right down the middle to help you get the answers you're looking for. You know what I mean? So, again, as I open up the show, ladies and gentlemen, I just put some things out there to you guys. It's simple. We're looking at maybe getting more Chinese investment involved, getting more Chinese tourists to the territory. Any type of tourist is good as long as they're going to spend money trickling down into the system, you know. We talked about the high school. Again, I'm putting that out there because I think it's important that we put a little emphasis on that. Don't wait till, 2-3 months down the road, maybe the next term, to start complaining. If you had some things that you believe from last school year that hasn't been fixed, and you notice those things, and you want the people responsible, going forward to address those things, now is the time to do it. Now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. This is your voice. This is your time. So let's do it. Let's get it on. You want to speak your mind? Go ahead, please. Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'd like to make a few comments on the taxi issue.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
I believe the first thing taxi men should do is, once they become taxi people, is not to transport people. That would be the second thing. The first thing would be to preserve and grow the industry. And taxi people have to learn to use their political clout. Because I believe they may be the largest member organization in the BVI. And when you have an election won by 10, 15 votes, everybody would have to, at least the politicians, would have to pay attention to whatever the taxi people, are saying. But in order to have that power, they have to organize.
Yeah.
Taxi people have to learn to organize and to do things that improves and grow their organization.
Yeah.
Another thing I think they should be concerned about is not just taxiing. Taxiing is just a subset of what they're really doing.
Mm-hmm.
They should be into transportation.
And service.
Yeah, and service.
Yes.
Because if you're into transportation, then you are not only looking at taxiing, you're looking at the bus service, you might be looking at specialized ferry service, you may be looking at a lot of other number of things.
Mm-hmm.
And a good organized organization will keep a lot of other businesses from encroaching on the taxi business.
Yeah, if you're strong enough.
Well, I think if they're organized, they will be.
Definitely.
Their biggest problem is organization.
Definitely.
And they're strong enough. And another thing, by now, since I've been home, I thought at least we would have been heading towards maybe a little pension or a little something for the older people going out. But again, you can't get these things without the organization and without looking at the future growth of your industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
But
okay,
Carla,
okay,
before you go,
listen.
I'm gonna try my best to bring, I think Mr. Damian Percival, who I know is a strong advocate for the medallion system, which will help people like yourself. And I'm gonna do what I can do to help support that, because people like you need a different way of making an income, and it's a good business concept. I'm gonna bring him on one night, and we're gonna have a show just on that, and get the guys involved so they could support the idea and the concept. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a good idea. And just one last point I'd like to make. Organize, the taxi men, them are the first people the visitors see. Now, under Federated Taxi, we could have businesses on almost all the major tourist attractions, King Garden Bay, Bruce Bay. We could have restaurant, hotels, because when the people come, who do they ask?
Yeah.
Where's the best restaurant?
That's right.
Who has the best housing?
That's right.
And I mean, you have an advantage that we're not taken care of because of lack of unity.
That's right.
Okay, I'll hang up and listen.
I appreciate the call. If you have anything else come to mind, just call me back.
Okay, thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the call. I think the call is absolutely right. But the show is not just about taxi, but that's one of the topics online. I'll read you some of the comments. Some of my fellow taxi men who are out there watching the show, listening to what's happening, we getting a lot of negative hit. Don't pick up blacks, locals. We getting a lot of hit on that. Overcharging. I get a lot of criticism on that. They say I overcharge. Me personally, stopping anywhere in the road. I talked about that. Rude drivers, unclean vehicles. I'm guilty of that sometimes because of laziness, and there's no excuse for that. Taking more than one fare at a time. That's a huge problem because a lot of people feel when you hire a cab, the cab belongs to them. You want to speak your mind? Go ahead, please. Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi.
One more thing I got to say.
Yes, sir.
Listen to this. Right behind in the back. The parking lot, I'm talking about the village parking lot.
Yeah.
It's clean, right? It have some blue drums. The blue drums in the corner down there where that thing is, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, then you need to move because that's oil and them thing there. You understand what I'm saying?
So there's like waste oil or cooking oil or something like in
Listen to
there?
this one. Listen on my TV.
Okay.
Let me on my TV. Listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying, right? You got some drums, some blue drums.
Uh-huh.
The parking lot look good, right?
Yeah.
But down in the corner, you saw that blue tree, right?
The pink one.
The good?
The pink one. Yeah.
Yeah. They have some, they have some blue drums, right? They have the old oil from the carnival thing, right? That needs to remove from this too.
Definitely.
Okay?
Definitely. We're going to work on it.
So, nakatayangan from here, but still I live there and like,
No, man. Stop saying that you're from here. No. The only thing I want you to do, is that if you're an entertainer and we hired you to go and support the BVI in the USVI and the system said if all can go, then none of us should go, stay with the all. That's the only thing I'm asking.
what do you think?
I said, recently we had a situation and I thought it should have been handled differently by the entertainers. And I know I'm going to get a hit for this. We had some entertainers who were asked by the government, Festival and Fest, to go to the USVI and help support, big up the BVI 60th anniversary. And some of those persons went by their own because they had issues. Some of the other people had issues with their clearance.
Good. Excuse me. You just said help. You just said help, right? So the people are like, that's the way we do, you know, that kind of road, you need to move and things from there. So them things are still ready, and if you still not come, generally you come to fail this. And if somebody having a spill then, the whole place stinks, you heard me?
Yeah, we're going to work on it.
Okay.
All right, my brother.
The parking all look good.
But the drums got to be moved.
Yeah, man, them things are moved again. They
Yeah.
ain't gonna make again.
Definitely. Call us back if anything else come up.
They ain't got no more money on the phone.
If you use a digital phone call and a number, you don't have to pay. All right. So anyway, yeah, you know, born in St. Thomas and living in BVI, loving the BVI, calling the BVI home. Remember, when it comes down to it, if the BVI is your home, always put your weight behind the BVI. That's all I'm asking. So, phone lines are open. Hit me up, hit me up, hit me up. So just again, taxi guys, we are taking a lot of hit. Long wait for drivers to leave location. These are some of the complaints, driving too fast. These are some of the complaints the taxi guys get. And ladies and gentlemen, I drive a taxi. I understand the business. I know. I am not sitting here trying to defend nothing. Because a lot of my brothers who out there who are doing the right thing know that there's people who are in the industry screwing it up for some of us. They know that. So I don't feel no way. I know I'm going to get chastised by some of my brothers them out there, or female drivers who are going to say, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that. Nonsense. Recognize your fault, and then we could address them and move forward. But I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you customers have to take some of the blame. Some of you knew or know about some of the behaviors that you yourself are causing. Some of you call for transportation. You say you're at one location. You get there, you're not there. You catch a ride, you're gone. Some of you are coming in on ferry service. You know the fare is $10 plus your load. You don't want to pay for the load. The driver looks like a thief because he's charged you, according to the tariff, the right fare. No, they said there's enough blame to go around. But we're not here. I'm not here to blame the customer. I'm simply saying, thanks for your comments. Let's help each other so we could get better to serve you. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I believe we should be doing. All right? So the whole transportation business is a good business. When I opened up the comment last week based on the text, my response was simply to that text that said, yes, as an industry, we are getting a hit out here. We're getting a hit by unregulated persons in the industry. Some of them don't even have proper transportation license. We're getting a hit, a beaten by some people who are just simply doing the wrong thing. And some of you know that. You want to speak your mind? Go ahead, please.
Okay, good night again.
Uh-huh.
What you need to do, right? You see that taxi driver, right? You need to put a meter.
Say that again?
I say you need to put a meter in your car.
We need meters.
I know what I'm saying. Put a meter in your car. So when somebody call you, right? Okay, then every time stop, the meter running. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
If you charge him $10, to pick up a person, okay. Let's say the person in the and next spot, and you're going to pick them up, right? The meter running. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't make your show, man. I don't know what to play. Okay?
All right, brother. Thanks for calling. Well, trust me, that whole conversation about metering came up years ago when they were looking to revise the tariff and everything. So I'm sure it's something that we could work out, but the system is kind of different here with our metering. I mean, it's not like when you're in the States and you're on flat road and you're going long distance and you could calculate and you have GPS that could do a lot of things for you. We don't really have a lot of that available to us here. I mean, so we might be limited with the whole meter concept, but it's not dead. It's not completely dead. I'm sure if we find a good company that could help us with the technology, why not? Why not? But again, many of you know when you catch a taxi in BVI, you as a customer, most of you who take taxis around town, you ask the price. You know the price. Many of you take cabs on a daily. You know the pricing. So there should be no shock to any of you when you get in a taxi and it's $10. There should be no shock. A lot of times what a lot of guys do in this industry, and I've been a victim of that. We have regular customers sometimes that take cab service and do the same thing. Sometimes you'll have a woman taking her kid to the daycare. He's old enough to ride by himself, but she decides she wants to ride with him. The fare for that might be a price, and then she has to come back, and then that's a separate price. Now, the guys who normally would take her would say, you know what, I'll give it to you as a discount. The next day she might get in somebody else who might not recognize the other guys giving her the discount. So now she set that and used that as a precedent. Like, that's the fare I've been paying and that's the fare that it should be. No. I mean, we have to be fair on both sides. A lot of guys, do a lot of things for almost nothing. We got bus drivers out here that drive school kids. Half the time they don't get paid, ladies and gentlemen. Half the time, half of you don't pay your bus drivers for the work that they do. You know it and I know it. So let's give and take. The comments are good, but let's give and take, all right? You want to speak your mind? Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Turn on your TV just a little bit for me.
Okay, I'll turn on the TV. Okay, listen to this. What you are saying just now, right? And the woman by the child, right? The child might be old enough, whatever the case is. That's her child. She wants to carry it. She wants to carry her child to school. You know that problem, the taxi driver, is in the same place. In the same place? Huh? Talk to me.
Go ahead.
Around the money. Talk to me.
Go ahead. Talk to me.
What I'm saying, like, if you are just saying just now, if you are just saying now that the woman with a child, right? Maybe the child feels better with mommy dropping me off in school, whatever the case is, you heard? But it won't be the same place?
Oh, no.
How much you charge a child?
No, there's a guide. We work with a guide. The taxi tariff is a guide. It's a law. We have a guide that we use. If the child is old enough to ride by himself, meaning over a certain age, that child gets charged just like, an adult. So what I'm saying to you is that it's the customer's choice, whatever the customer wants to do. But in the interest of trying to save the customer money, if the child is capable of traveling by themselves, doesn't mind, save the customer money, ma'am, I can drop off the child for you. You can call the daycare or center in the next.
Maybe the woman won't trust you.
We understand that. That's fine. But then at the same time, the customer then now should recognize that there's an extra charge. Then don't argue with the driver for doing his job and charging for his service. You understand what I'm saying?
I feel it.
Yeah, we have no problem with what the customer wants to do. We're here to serve. So whatever the customer wants to do. You get customers sometimes that come in with 50 boxes. There's a charge for that. They assume that those boxes should be free. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way on American Airlines. It's not working that way on the ferry service no more. It's not working that way. So don't expect it now to work that way with BVI taxis.
Hello. You got people in the middle.
Say that again?
Yeah, you got people in the middle.
You got to pay?
You got people in the middle.
Of course. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. There ain't no money on this one. I ain't calling back. All a good day.
All right, brother. Thanks for the call. Call's been good. Ladies and gentlemen, don't feel no way. The phone lines are open if you guys want to call in. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, let's keep the conversation going, all right? We'll be right back.
gone right at the last left turn, you know.
Virgin, the directions I got to go straight.
Oh, you go and tell me about them stupid directions when the map is right here.
Let me see the map. Let me see the map.
So now you want to see the map?
Give me the map, man.
All right.
No, we passed there, so already.
Oh.
Make a right, go 100 meters, and that's the destination.
Having Digicel data is like having the fastest man in the world save you from getting lost. Start using Digicel data today. Digicel.
All right, welcome back, guys. I know you guys have a lot to talk about, so feel free to hit me up. Phone lines are up on screen. The text number is up on screen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're calling and you're using a Digicel phone, Digicel is a sponsor of this show. Those numbers on screen, those are Digicel numbers. I believe if you call with a Digicel phone, the call is usually free. So you don't have to worry about running out of credit. That's the way it works in here with the whole sponsorship thing. So hit us up. You know, let me know what's up tonight. I'm here all alone, so I need some company tonight, guys. Call me and let me know what's on your mind. There's a lot to talk about. I put some really strong topics out there. Again, you know, if you got kids that are sitting at home, high school age, they're getting ready to go back to school. There's a lot on their plate this school year. There's some new measures coming into play. We got no grades to consider, 10th grade, 9th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. We have a new principal coming in at the high school. How do the kids feel about that? And parents, how do you feel about this new school year? Do you see anything that needed to be done last year that hasn't been done, that you know of, that you want to call and let the Minister for Education, he's an active fella. He's an active guy. So if you want him to know how you feel about anything, you should call and let him know. This is one of the shows, trust me, that he or his people are watching, they're monitoring, they're listening. Even when they don't hear anything that concerns them directly, they're also listening and watching for the other areas of concern that their other colleagues are managing and taking care of. So, you know, feel free. I see the texts, but I only hit the text after the break. I don't hit text while I'm on the show because, you know, you got to stroll through them. You got to try to read them and figure out what they're saying. And sometimes you can't read every text you see come through. I'm telling, be honest with you, some of this text, you guys are too hard line. You're too left or too right. And we don't want to be that way on this show. We want you to speak your mind, but we want you to be clear and honest when you're saying what you're saying. So, again, if you're going to call or send us a text, send us something that's short, sweet, easy to read, and hits the point. So, high school, getting ready to open up, new teacher, parents, kids, how you feel. Investing overseas in China. We got the Chinese might be doing some investments in the BVI. It might be a good opportunity for a lot of entrepreneurs to maybe get on the bandwagon, go down and register your business, your interest with the chamber, and they can put you in touch with the people who might be coming in to connect the investment. You know, if you might have an invention that you might want some professional help, the Chinese might be able to do that. They're doing a lot for all kinds of other people around the world. I mean, we're looking at, you know, if you need a app developer or engineer to maybe look at something and help you develop a concept, maybe this might be the route. I don't know. I'm asking you, how do you feel about investing with China, the premier, and others are looking to send a delegate of people down to China to maybe encourage them and do more investment in the BVI. You know, again, on the whole Chinese investment thing, you know, there's a lot of good in it. There's also a lot of concerns. You know, you look at, again, Jamaica is getting a whole lot of work over. Chinese are doing the work. At the same time, how many Jamaicans are employed while the Chinese are doing the work, you know, for that really low return interest loan? Those are the kind of things we got to look at. How many people stay behind after the work is done and develop the country, build families, and what does that do for the society there, the Jamaican society? Look at Trinidad. Again, Trinidad got a bunch of money just a few years ago. Just a few years ago, I remember the Prime Minister of Trinidad, Mrs. Passad, she signed the contract. I read it, you know, and that money was supposed to go into a CARICOM fund. And CARICOM is supposed to look at all the CARICOM countries and look at what kind of investment or what kind of development those countries need. And that money was supposed to be used to help those countries develop. Again, nothing wrong with that concept. But investment should come with opportunities, entrepreneurship. It should come with a lot of other things. So what do you think? We look at Bahamas. Bahamas got a $5 billion, I think, hotel development going on right now in the Bahamas, supposed to be done sometime soon. It's a massive, massive project. Not 5 billion, it's like 20 million or something like that. But it had like 5,000 or 7,000 people, Chinese people that came in to help develop the hotel. You know, there's a lot of concerns about them bringing in their own, you know, secondary helpers, you know, people to wash clothes, and, you know, none of the money is going outside of the village. They build a village where the people are living in. And so there's no money being spent throughout the neighborhoods, you know, to help the economy while they're making their money off the project. You know, those are concerns. They're not a bad one, but they're concerned. They're just things to think about when we talk about investment. So I'm asking you, what do you think? I mean, of course, all of, you know, we're talking about developing other pillars in the BVI, farming and agriculture. The Chinese are doing a lot of that down in Africa right now. Maybe we can employ them to help us develop our greenhouse, bring in some greenhouse technology, and then get our people them here, you know, to be a part of that ahead of time, early, not after the fact. You know what I mean? And we need Chinese who could speak English, not Mandarin, so all people can't be a part of the growth. Maybe they could help us set up salmon fishing, you know, freshwater fishing and so forth, you know, in some of those greenhouses. So maybe there's some great benefits. But I'm asking you, what do you think? How do you feel about that concept? You know, is it something that you want to be a part of? Call me, let me know. Don't be afraid. It's just conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid of the conversation. It's okay to have a conversation about whatever. We're not talking anything political tonight, except for the fact that, you know, the Premier also mentioned that he does not think that there's any need for a commission of inquiry on the whole cruise ship thing. I'm asking you, it'll never go away until somebody make a decision. Somebody has to say, and the only person now who could make that decision is the governor, who has to say there'll be no commission of inquiry, and then you leave. You know what? The system, the government don't have anything to hide. There's absolutely nothing that he believed was done wrong. He'll have to reverse what he said about the accusation being serious, and he'll say, you know what, let's just have the inquiry because it'll vindicate whoever was being implemented in whatever situation that was called for in that report, in those two reports. So, you know, only the governor can make that decision. But I'm asking you because, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the governor watches these shows. He listens and he reads the newspapers and he listens to the radio. He said it himself. He just said it again, and I think he was at a Rotary luncheon where they indoctrinated him into the Rotary, and he says, you know, the governor said he's been following a lot of the BVI politics for the better half of a year. So anybody who would be offended that you might say hi to the governor and encourage the governor to watch your show or listen to a particular radio because you think that's where he's going to get his news from, as if he wasn't already doing that, they're wrong. This guy was already up on what was happening. He's been communicating with the last governor. And the last governor, as much as he was inactive on a lot of things, he was active enough, it seems, to share information with the new governor. He gave him all the files. The files are on the governor's desk. He's consulting with his people. And then he's going to make a decision. He said that. I didn't say it. He said it. By the end of the year, he'll make a decision. So he's the only one. So, ladies and gentlemen, A lot of us are saying we're tired of hearing this and tired of hearing that. But you're going to continue to be tired because the information is still there. The perception is still there. The accusations is still there. They haven't been satisfied. It doesn't matter whether you're tired or not. Until somebody closes the case, it's still going to be there. The best way to close the case is for the governor to make a decision either way. No inquiry, done with the story, all bets are off, inquiry, whatever happens, happens. Like one song said, who it hurt, it hurt. It shouldn't hurt nobody because everybody said nothing was wrong. Nothing wrong was done. So therefore, some say, let it go forward. How do you feel about that, ladies and gentlemen? How do you feel? Because, listen, the country right now needs to get past a lot of this situation they're in right now. We need to get past it. If you don't get past it, you can't build your country. We got so much little things building up and building up and building up. And this kind of information, this kind of situation ain't going to help us to get past it if we don't deal with it. You can't keep running from it. You can't keep putting it under the rug. You can't keep trying to ignore it. You can't keep trying to deny it. Whatever the situations are, you got to confront it and you got to deal with it now. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So the phone lines are open. I got a couple texts that I wrote down here. We're gonna hit those texts and talk about those texts. You know, somebody said government needs to help local entrepreneurs more. I don't know. What do you mean when you say help us more? I know the governor just made a speech. He said that one of the things he was impressed with, it was with the BVI social and economic situation. He believes socially that we are good. He believes economically that we are strong. You know, don't mind nobody. You don't get strong overnight. You get strong based on a long-term, you know, building process. He also said he was impressed with the level of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship. That's something I preach about all the time on this show. Entrepreneurship. To me, entrepreneurship means involvement. Involvement, ownership, opportunity to grow. And I said time and time already on this show, if the people of this territory, locals who were born here, who were 2 or 3 generations, and those who came among us in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, if they didn't have opportunity to build entrepreneurship, if they didn't have opportunity to build a business, if a lot of the people who are not born BVI landers didn't have a chance to build those big buildings up on a hill, 30 years later they're sitting on $1 million property. If they didn't have that opportunity, the BVI wouldn't be in the position it's in now. Simple as that. If the people who are developing investment clubs didn't have the opportunity to invest in ideas and concepts, they wouldn't be where they are today. But a lot of those opportunities came as a result of them first coming together, pooling their resources together, and then looking at systems, the system, the government, to help them get that start. Balancing the playing field. And there's plenty of examples out there. If those opportunities didn't exist, ladies and gentlemen, the BVI will not be where it is. So if we were to expect to go forward and be as strong as we are now in the next 10, 15, 20 years, we got to embrace each other, ideas and concepts. We have to start embracing our young people born in the country, raising up in the country, accelerating in the country, have the ability and the love for self-determination. They want to do things for themselves. We have to embrace that the same way we've been embracing it for 30 and 40 years. If we don't do that now, when those kids get to a point and they realize there hasn't been any support, nobody really embraced them, they stigmatized them, they didn't give them the opportunity to do the things that they believe they could have done, and now they're at a stage where there's still no support, what they're going to do, they're going to take their talent somewhere else. BVI is going to left hole in the bag, empty. We're going to be empty because nobody's going to want to, you know, give back because they feel they didn't get any support, didn't get any love, any respect. So we got to find ways to continue to foster and develop our entrepreneurship. So when the governor, His Excellency said that he really loved that concept, he appreciated that. Ladies and gentlemen, we should be proud of ourselves, all of us. All of you who live in this country, who claim you ain't from the country, but you've been here 30 and 40 years, and you have done well for yourself. If you're here past 20 years, 25, 30 years, you're here because there's something good about yourself and what you're doing. There's something good about the system that allows you to grow. And that's what we have to do now. We have to continue to build that. So when he spoke about that, it ain't no surprise to people like me, because I've been saying it all the time. So what we have to do, government have to continue to find ways to build entrepreneurship. Whenever there's major opportunities in the country, the first thing you do is look to your own people. Look to your own people at every possibility and every chances to make sure that your people, no matter what, could be a part of that. And they should be a part of it in a major controlling way. Never in a way where they have to fight so hard to control the destiny. Never. That's the key to our success, ladies and gentlemen. Ownership of land and entrepreneurship. If you don't have that, you're dead. The society ain't going nowhere. It's not going to go anywhere. Nobody ain't going to get nothing out of it. We're going to be like other countries who it's going to bring a lot of investment in, but the investment is going to come in to do things in the area that they will benefit from. For example, in Africa, you look at what's happening in Africa. A lot of the African countries, there's stories upon stories upon stories upon stories. There was just a forum, a World Economic Forum just recently, again this year. They spoke about that. Many African countries right now, in all of their major areas of concern, we have a lot of Chinese investment going into the area, helping to develop the area, but what they are not leaving behind is the transfer of information, transfer of technology, training and entrepreneurship, opportunity in growth, opportunity in management, and in ownership. Because at the end of the day, the people who are running, operating, and managing the plants are the same people who are investing. The investment should be in your people. So when we look at investment, make sure that those opportunities are not taken away. When people come and invest in our country and they say that they have a love for the country, they have to have a love for the people. They have to have the love to make sure that the people grow with them. $100 million into your economy, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a cruise pair project development, you know, if you have to wait 30 and 40 and 50 years before your people can own it and operate it and manage it, then it's not an investment. It's not an investment. So, ladies and gentlemen, when I heard the governor, when I read what the governor said, I was pleased. I was ecstatic because I know for a fact that that's what saved the BVI. Just look back in our history. I've been trying to pay attention to a lot of the people from the 20s and 30s and 40s. And I think we need to do a better job. I'm asking the Minister of Education to get with some historians and really highlight these people that made a difference in the BVI, because the BVI didn't just start farming and growing its foundation for success since the 1960s. No, it started from the 20s. It started from the 30s and the 40s. It was an incremental process where men and women came back. They fought, they argued, they debated. Some got knocked down, some stood up, some said no, some said yes. We did a lot of things. They did a lot of things to continue to build a foundation. Despite all what was happening, a lot of them were smart entrepreneurs, individual thinkers collective thinkers, they were saying to themselves, you know what? We need to find a way where we could get our own governor on the BVI. We need to find a way where we could move away from all destiny being controlled by a federation in Antigua. We need to find a way where we could build and foster a closer relationship with the U.S. currency next door to St. Thomas. We need to find a way where we know we're going to have to move away from agriculture because the English ship had stopped coming to help us, you know, get the stuff out of here, the cotton and all of that other stuff to England. We need to find a way to encourage more and different type of investment. Tourism was on the brink. In the 50s and 60s, 70s and 80s, we found a way where the financial services came in. So the whole foundation was being laid, but it was being laid by people who were given an opportunity and they were given support. That's the key. So thank you, Mr. Governor, for recognizing the strength of the BVI. And for the rest of you who didn't know before, know it now. That's what saved the BVI. Ownership of land and entrepreneurship. Opportunity to do something. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hit our last segment. So if you have anything to say, I know you like hearing me. I'm going to read some more of these texts and write them down. I know you like hearing me, but I want to hear from some of you guys tonight. Feel free. Anything that's on your mind. I put out 3 or 4 really strong topics and ideas. I got a lot more, but we're going to stick with those for tonight. And if you want to get in on a conversation, hit us back when we come back from the break. All right, so we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Place spaghetti in boiling water, add tomatoes, sweet peppers, and onion, and presto, you have spaghetti marinara.
Having Digicel data is like having the fastest man in the world save you from last-minute dinner dilemmas. Start using Digicel data today. Digicel.
All right, welcome back, guys. We got a little bit of time left, so if you want to hit me up. No matter what's on your mind, I'm just, you know, putting some things out there, food for thought, you know, get you guys to get involved with the conversation, stimulate your thoughts, because I know sometimes these things are there, they're sitting there, you want to talk about it, but then sometimes, you know, you find yourself in a situation where, you know, you're afraid to vent, you're afraid to put it out there, but don't feel no way. You could put it out there. Send me a text. I'll put it out there for you. A couple texts I just want to touch on. Anybody that works with BVI electricity and you're watching this show, this is the 3rd week that I can record. We have a situation in Puzzle. We need you guys to get in there and fix this light situation. There's a light pole in there. I think it's close to the bakery or somewhere in the area as you enter Puzzle off to the left. That is the responsibility of BVI Electricity. Please, please help the people up in there. It's a safety matter. I think it was in the same area when the place got robbed. The person ran down to it. Nobody was able to see where they ran because it was so dark. If you could help, BVI Electricity, help out. Please, get it done. You know what I mean? You're already charging people a bunch of money, you know, for electricity they probably not using. At least put the light in and we'll feel good about the bill when they get it, right? So, it's somewhere in Puzzle. Ladies and gentlemen, the person said in that text, if you could give me a little bit more information on where exactly the light's supposed to go, I'll put that out there. But I think, remember, one of the last texts, it was somewhere close. There was a little bakery right there in the front as you came in. inside post, it's off on the left side in there somewhere. So BVI Electricity, we're calling out on you. The member for that district, I think that's what? The 5th? I think that's the 5th district, you know. The 5th district or the 6th district. Whichever one. Representative for either one of those districts. I know your people are watching. See if you can help the citizens out in that district. Inside Puzzle, there's a situation in there somewhere with a light. It's been going on now for a long time. See if we could get somebody up in there, all right? Virgin Gorda, somebody sent in a text about the health inspectors up in Virgin Gorda and trash everywhere. I think this is the second or third text I seen for the night. Ladies and gentlemen, please, man, it's your country, it's your community. Keep it clean. Stop putting your garbage on top of your truck. You're going to forget it as soon as you get in the vehicle. How hard is that to understand? Hey, we all do it. I put mine inside because when it starts to stink, I can't stand the smell anymore. I remember it's in there. Put yours in your trunk so you can smell it. You go, whoa, what is that smell? It's the garbage that you forgot. Imagine when you forgot it on top of the vehicle and you drive and 3 hours later you remember the garbage was on top but it ain't there no more. Man, don't litter up the place. Don't stink up the place. Virgin Gorda was voted this year, I think, twice so far. Once by TripAdvisor, if I ain't mistaken, as the best Caribbean island to vacation. Virgin Gorda is part of the BVI. People around the world getting that information. TripAdvisor have almost 40 to 50 million people every single month hitting their website. I ain't saying 40, 50 million people seeing that information, you know. I'm simply saying that the odds are good. Let's keep our island clean. Let's have more pride in ourselves. You know, we don't need the government to keep telling us and remind us to throw our garbage in the garbage bin. I just saw a press release just this week. There was an island-wide cleanup. Sasha, she did a great job. I think this is the third or second time I've seen this young lady getting out in Virgin Gorda and doing an island-wide cleanup. We need some of that down in Tortola. Call me, I'll be happy to join the team. I will be happy. I'm volunteering. I probably should try to do one myself, but knowing some of my people, they ain't gonna come out. They don't want to come out early. So Sasha, if you can organize it, I'll be part of that in Tortola. We need some of that in Tortola. So Virgin Gorda, somebody's complaining. Somebody's complaining for good reason. Government, solid waste, whoever handles health inspection, you know, the little audience, the little police, we need people out there doing their job. I know it's tough because it might be your own brother and sister you got to go put a ticket on, but you got to do it because we got to keep our country clean because the people that come to our country, you know what? One of the first things they comment on is the organization of the island, the cleanliness of the island. And I'm glad, I'm happy when I hear those comments, and I always tell them and I brag about how good the guys are that get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and walk the street and pick up garbage. And I see them guys all the time, all over the place, you know, just doing their job. But as they finish doing their job, some of us come right after them and start doing things that we ain't supposed to do. We dirty the place. So let's stop doing that, man. Let's keep the place clean. Let's work together to keep our island clean. Let's work together to help one another, keep the island safe. Let's work together to help stimulate our own economy. Let's work together to keep the BVI the way it is. Because the way it is the reason why we all are here. It's good. It's a good place. So, Virgin Gorda, keep the island clean. The people are asking for your support. Somebody was sending me a point of correction. They say to call them to the Digicel phone is not free. They have to pay for it. So Digicel, sponsors of the show, and my bosses, them in the back who are watching the show, we need to verify and clarify that situation. I was told to let you know when you call the show from a Digicel phone, the call will be free. And you're saying that it's not. If that's the case, we're going to deal with that. You know what I mean? The calls are supposed to be free whenever you call a number from a Digicel phone. So we're going to text for that call. Thanks for that text. We're going to follow up on that. I'll get the bosses them to follow up on that because we don't want to give you bad information and expect you to call and be happy about the call when you're giving charge. And every penny counts. Every single penny counts when you're talking about cell phone and cell phone use. So thanks for that call. This one was long, so I try to shorten it a little bit. They said when the governor spoke about the allegation of serious, he's not referring to the fact that it's serious because he had a chance to investigate. He says it sounds like a serious accusation, and he will have to investigate first to see for himself if there's any truth to the matter. If I got that right, let me know. So, and I agree with you, exactly that's the situation. I mean, but don't you really think that the governor had a chance to really look at some of the information, listen to the debate? He's been watching. He himself said it. He said he's been following some of the stories. You don't think he's been following this story? I mean, come on, let's be real. This guy has an impressive resume, the governor. And I know he ain't the kind of person that just sits down and not paying attention. He does. This man deals with weapons. He was dealing with weapons and all kinds of trade treaties and all kinds of things before he came to the BVI. So don't think he came here blind. He's not blind. He's a guy that pays attention. I mean, I was listening and reading some of what he said at the Rotary luncheon dinner the other night, and it's impressive. Y'all speak your mind. Go ahead, please. We got a little bit of time left. Hit me up.
Yeah, good night, sir.
Evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Turn on your TV just a little bit so you can hear me and I can hear you.
Yeah, all right. How things going in town?
In Rotong?
Yeah.
Slow, quiet, no money making.
No money making?
No money making.
No money making. You guys ain't got no construction going on nowadays?
Well, I'm not in the construction field, and the construction business is limited to friends and family.
Oh, man, how can you say that?
Well, that's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with that. Who get it? They get friends and family. They buy their own equipment. The work goes on.
That's good then. Okay. So
No
we
problem.
think about the cruise ship here.
Huh?
What's going on with the cruise ship here?
That's what we're talking about. That's the only construction I see going on in Rotong.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I see a little bit of work starting right there by the roundabout again, relating to the sewage thing again. So that's good. A couple more backhoe guys and some guys with flags and stuff will get a little work out of that. That's good.
Okay. As long as you making the country go forward, everything is being harder, you just have a little rivals, but sometimes we can overcome those things.
Well, the fella, Mr. Dixon, just wrote a really nice piece. I like to listen to Dixon. Sometimes it's a bit long, but he wrote a nice piece. And he referenced the fact that local stimulus is what local government has to do to keep the economy going. It's a proven success to help your economy grow and continue to survive. So whenever the government, and I challenge and I always say that government, I've been preaching that on this show since I've been on it, government should always find a way to stimulate the local economy, to make sure your people can live.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We need to have a few ideas now to be able to get things better on stream, because on a couple of the sister islands, one of the sister islands in particular, where there's a lot of space and opportunity, needs to be utilized. For instance, people might talk and say this can't work and this can't work, but a place like Anegada, they need to have a medical school. If you can't get your PhD, you go somewhere else to get it, but you can have a piece of prestigious tourism. You can enhance the development of the airport on Anegada so that you don't have to turn away your level jets when they come over the holiday season, send them off to other islands to park. You could do something with Anegada, which is easier to be done. Fix the port for the boats, because if you're going to advance the cruise ship industry, that means that you have to be able to have the outer islands to accommodate. And another thing, again, while we're talking about enhancing the cruise ship industry, we got to keep in mind that we need to build the infrastructure. Bathrooms is an essential thing. It might sound petty, but having bathrooms throughout all the stops where the big safari buses stop in certain areas, we need to think in terms that we need to have a lot of bathroom facilities to make our clients happy. And we honestly need to utilize Anegada for its potential and stop talking that this can't happen because it's Anegada. You have to put money in the budget and plan a strategy to build a school. We have people from all over the world. It's prestigious piece of tourism that will be plus growth. So if you want to stimulate the economy, you have to have a vision. You just can't be down in the gut all the time, swinging at each other's, and don't look over the horizon.
Yeah.
Sam, I just want to leave that with you because we must look towards the future and we must utilize the British Virgin Islands for its full potential in the future. Don't worry about this and that and the other. If we want to grow this economy, we have a golden opportunity on the sister island in particular, Anegada, for some things that is needed in the BVI badly.
Yeah.
Brother, I go hang up and listen to you, and you have a nice evening and keep enlightening the people. And let's keep steering them in the right direction.
Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Appreciate you listening.
Thank you.
Well, Anegada, let me help you out a little bit. You know, I was watching something you said there, Carla. I was watching I came across a YouTube video. I was doing something on Anegada and BVI, and I found a video of a group of students that paid their own way a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And they were doing some environmental studies over in Anegada. They were here for like 3 or 4 weeks, just doing their own thing. And that same thought came to my mind, is that Anegada could be used maybe for a nice medical school, whether it could be veterinarian, whether it could be medical, whether it could be, you know, whatever. But you're absolutely right. Anegada has a lot of unique potential and opportunities. In all of the 4 main islands, everything does not have to be on Tortola. And everything does not have to be in Rotong. I keep saying that. But since you're on the islands, I remember one of our last marketing companies, the Zimmerman. I remember one of the things they came up, one of the concepts and ideas they came up with was that they had branded each island with a unique flag or a symbol, like the gecko for Anegada or the iguana for Anegada. Virgin Gorda had a different something. Just when I had something else, Tortola had something else. But overall, it was still the BVI. And each island was identified for its strengths. So you're absolutely right. I think the people who are driving this system right now, driving the government, I think they're fully aware, you know. I think they're fully aware, but what it takes is people like yourself to continue to foster and pound those ideas. Whenever they come to talk down to you, you talk to them. Talk to them. Don't let them talk down to you and tell you what they think is best. You live in Anegada, you live in there, you survive in there, you have to deal with the weather, you have to deal with the issues. You're the person that understands your own country, your own land, your piece of little land, piece of this little paradise. So when the politicians and the representatives come over, you sit them down. Don't let them sit you down. You sit them down. As a matter of fact, what you guys over there should be doing in all the islands is you should be demanding that they come to see you. And you guys have your agenda, not going off of their agenda. You have yours. So Anegada does have a lot of potential. The only thing I want y'all to do over there, I wish I had some money, because the last time I was over there last year for the Lobster Fest, and that's coming up. I hope you guys really pull that off again this year. Is that I wish I had some money, because there's so much land, so much beautiful land just sitting there waiting for somebody like me to come and say, let's do this and let's do that. Put your entrepreneurship ideas together. Find like-minded people. Don't wait for the Chinese or somebody else to come in and do it and say they could do it. Find like-minded people. As a matter of fact, if you don't own some of that land, buy it. So when them who want to come in and talk about them coming to invest, don't sell them nothing. Lease it to them and be a part of the development. 40 years, you part of it. 30 years, your children them part of it. And your grandchildren them are part of it. So don't give it away. Lock it in. Don't wait for the government to come and put it as national park and all this now. Fight that. It should be in your hands, your generation, your kids, you know, your grandkids. So, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities and potential in Anegada. And the thing I want you to do is find a way to kill the mosquitoes over there. And them sand fly, my God, y'all need to find a way to tie them things down, man. They terrible over there. I don't know how you guys can survive with them. Maybe we could invent some ideas. We could get the Chinese them involved and invented some mosquitoes idea to kill these mosquitoes before they even become a problem. So, brilliant, brilliant. Thanks for the call, caller. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a little bit of time left. We got about 10 minutes left. If you want to get in on this conversation, go ahead, feel free. Give me a call. I hear the phone ring, and I hope it's somebody that has something to share with the rest of us. I think it's brilliant. So, last text was, again, the person was talking about, you know, the governor, his comment. They were analyzing the comment, and they believe they have the right answer on his comment. Fine, you know. Whatever it takes, all I'm saying is that we have to get this thing over with. Done with it. Move on. Let's get this thing going. All right, Carl, I just missed your call. Just hit me back in a few minutes. No problem. But yeah, we got to get rid of the cloud. One of the politicians in the House called it, this cloud, it's over our head, and we can't seem to shake it because the wind is not blowing. You got to get rid of this cloud. You know what I mean? You either got to blow it away, or we got to figure out, you know, how to get in the cloud and open it up to see what's inside of it. So something has to be done, ladies and gentlemen. It can't just be sitting around and just there up in space. You know what I mean? So let's do whatever it takes. You want to speak your mind? Go ahead, please. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening.
Talk to me.
I passed by the Noelite restroom. Restroom, and it's in bad condition. It needs to be cleaned. Everything is blocked. Nothing is happening there. Someone needs to check it out.
Noelite Park, the restrooms are terrible.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for the call. I think there's somebody that takes care of that whole compound. We don't want that. We got tourists. We still have a one or two walk around the place. It's supposed to be a public area, public restroom, public park. It represents, you know, something good, a significant achievement. We don't want our tourism having to go use the restroom there. So whoever is responsible, please do what's needed. You know what I mean? Let's get it done. Bathroom, the young lady said, is in terrible shape. Everything is blocked. Ladies and gentlemen, if you use a restroom, stop stuffing up the toilet, please. Don't stuff the toilet paper with a bunch of paper. In the toilet with a bunch of paper. Please, let's do the right thing. Let's help whenever we can help. Ladies and gentlemen, we got about 5 minutes left. Hit me up. Hit me up. I know you guys are watching. You know, I hear it all the time. You know, it's your show. It is not my show. It's your show. I can do this all night. I know that. I can do this all night. I have a lot of things I can talk about. You know, some things you may not like, some things you may not agree with. I can do that. You know, and then there's a lot of things you probably will agree with. But if we all sit here all night agreeing, and it's all my conversation, then it's only my point of view. So we got 4 or 5 minutes left. If you want to hit me up on any topic that, you know, is pressing, it has a public interest, please feel free. So, as I close, ladies and gentlemen, high school is getting ready to open up. We got a new principal. What's going on there? We have anyone with any concerns, any last minute concerns that you want to share, go ahead and feel free to call and let me know. You know, we're looking at investment, Chinese investment. How do you guys feel about Chinese investment? You know, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good in it, but we must tread lightly. We must be smart about how we get involved with Chinese investment. I am serious. Just Let's look at the other people who are involved. Let's look at their success. Let's look at the success from the middle, from the bottom up, not from the top down. That's the key. The key is making sure that when you look and compare with other people, how is the little man on the street benefiting? How is the small business benefiting? Now, I must tell you, one of the things I saw that I thought was really good and smart is that they're working through the chamber. I get the emails, so I know, I'm not condemning anything. It's good. I see them sending out emails encouraging businesses, small businesses, to send in your ideas and get involved. So that's good. That's what we want to see. We want to make sure that whatever investment comes in this country, that the little man, the entrepreneur, can be a part of that growth. Because if he or she is not part of it, it's a waste of time, ladies and gentlemen. It's a waste of time. It's very, very important that we look at that. So I ask you, how do you feel about Chinese investment? What do you think? Is it an opportunity to maybe, start doing more things? You know when you look at a lot of the tourist trap stuff now, the t-shirts and all the gift items and stuff, the new local now is made in China. Pretty much the entire world, everybody, everywhere you go, the new local is made in China. So how do you guys feel? Do we want to see it more? Are we really going to be a part of the investment from the ground up or from the top down? That's important. Also, we talked a little bit about we talked a lot about the whole taxi industry. Again, I'm challenging my brothers them out there, my sisters them out there in the whole transportation business. We hear the complaint, we hear the criticism. Let's do our best. Let's do our best to do better. That's what I'm saying. We ain't gonna sit around and be all upset and mope and be angry at a customer. No, we need the customers. The customers don't need us. We need them. So let's do our best to address the concerns. We can't have our people them sitting and waiting. We can't discriminate against our own people. We got to find a way. We could talk to our customers and let them know, hey, listen, the fare is so-and-so. It's going to cost you a little extra for your luggage. And customers, you should understand. You should be reasonable. The same way you get treat other places, St. Thomas, U.S., when you're on the plane, on ferries and so forth. You have to understand. You got to bring that level of understanding to the table as well. So, but taxi guys, let's do what we need to do. Let's do what we need to do to improve our own image and improve the service that we offering to people, because that's what it is. It's a service. We offering a service for a reward. Let's do our best to make sure that when people get in our vehicle, they're treated fairly, they feel safe, they love they love our transportation, they love us, and they want to continue to do business with us because we do need them. You know what I mean? They don't need us. So, but ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for the comments, the concerns, the criticism. It was long. It was a lot of them, and some people were upset. Oh, the people that beat you up, they beat you up and they really knock you down. No, you didn't do anything bad. You did everything right, ladies and gentlemen. So keep that up. I'm not like those who would turn your cable off because you criticize a bad service they give when you call them on the phone, or cable TV, or cable wireless, or Digicel, or CCT, dropping calls every time you go around a corner. If you go on the West End, and you're on a phone call, it drop, or you automatically switch over to a roaming network when you're still on Tortola. No, we ain't going to get upset. What we're going to try to do is find ways to improve. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been good. I appreciate your time. With that said, I'm going to sign off and say I'll see you guys again next week. So please tune in where you can speak your mind.